217 Recovery Podcast. How are you doing? Special guest joining the show today. We've been waiting for this man for weeks. And you're not under the weather tonight. It's Tommy.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going?
Yeah.
Not under the weather. There was some personal things going on. It wasn't no dickinitis.
Oh, I thought, okay, because yesterday you said you had dickinitis.
Yeah.
Or no. Was that you even?
No, I think that was some other dickhead. I'm not going to say no names. Matt.
All right. Well, hey, you're here, and we just had a pretty good little meeting without Jesus or without God. It was kind of a different. I've never been to one of those before.
It was a secular meeting. It was a secular meeting, and they try to get other people that that are in AA that don't believe in that don't have any beliefs or whatever to try to come into AA, and so it's a secular meeting, but we still talk about religion a little bit and.
Yeah, we did a little, but it's not the readings and all that kind of stuff. So if, you're listening and you're like, hey, that's maybe something I want to check out, because it's more of, in my opinion, as a radio broadcaster, it's more important about community and belonging and having a sense of, people that you can be around. And absolutely. Hey, man, if that can get you in a group of people that you can connect with, that can keep you from trying to run from your emotions and run right into alcohol or drugs, hey, whatever works for you, man.
Absolutely, no question.
Everybody's program's different.
Yes, sir.
We're probably going to have you back on in a couple weeks because I do want to hear your story. And you said, man, it's long. And
yeah, it usually takes me about an hour. I mean, this is if I usually say, I mean, like my life story, where I've been, what I've come from, and where I'm at now. It takes about an hour. It's a regular hour to get it all in, but if we don't have the time right now, whatever you want, bro, it's all you. 217.
And you are a moderator on our family site, so we got to say what's up to the 217 family.
Sir. Shouts out to 217.
Yeah, on Facebook. But I want to ask you, though, because you did a speaker meeting.
Yes.
What was that like? And did you ever think you would ever, like a year ago, what would you have told yourself?
Oh, man, a year ago, I wouldn't have never known I would even be in a place like this right now, or even clean and sober, for that matter. I thought I was a goner. Like, I came to the conclusion that I was content where I was at, like being a loser, drug addict, hustler. Like, I didn't think I was ever gonna be anything different, So I was content with being that, I tried so many times to get clean and sober and I just failed, So I just came to the conclusion that I was content on being a drug addict loser, and that's what I was going to be for the rest of my life until I died or end up in prison. And it was probably going to be prison, for life. But I see every time I tried to get clean and sober, it was because, and I did, but I never made it. I could get myself clean and sober, but I couldn't keep myself clean and sober. But that was because I did it all on my own. It's all about Tommy. I'm a man, right? So I don't need, I don't need to go to rehab. I'm not. Them are a bunch of losers. Them are the real quitters right there. I'm not, I don't need rehab. I'm going to do this myself because I'm a man and I can do this. So, I did that over and over and over and over, and it never worked. But, so I've been clean and sober. June 6th, I celebrated my 6 months, and off of everything, like. Not even, bro. I don't even take aspirins for a headache. I just man it up. Really,
you man.
I just man it up. Like I don't, because I'm an addict and I'll abuse anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, I go to the gym and take proteins and pre-workouts, and they say 1 scoop. Man, I take 2 or 3 scoops. You know what I mean? I'm an addict. I abuse them. Whatever. But it's good stuff. It's not. It's protein powder and stuff. Mm-hmm. But anyway, 6 months ago, I woke up in a motel room, and it wasn't really like waking up, because I was on meth really bad. So I kind of just like woke up and I was in a motel room and just drugs everywhere, man. I mean, I had a pile of meth, probably 4 or 5 grams, sitting on the table next to me. There's heroin and needles and alcohol bottles and 2 half-naked back page girls, we're just ridiculous, bro. And I just look around and I'm like, wow, what am I doing with my life? I don't want to live like this no more. I've been on the street for probably, at that time, it was probably 4 or 5 months, like a straight binge. In that whole time, I've probably slept maybe 2 days, 2 to 4 days, I mean, like in the matter of 4 or 5 months, like I'm up for 2-3 weeks at a time, and then I'll sleep for 12 hours, get up, 2-3 more weeks, sleep for 12 hours, get up, and the whole time I'm using. Just ridiculous, bro. I'm blessed to be alive right now. And anyways, I woke up in that room, man, and I knew it was time. I called a good friend of mine and I texted her actually, and I'm like, "Hey, look, I'm at America's Best motel room. I'm a hot mess. Can you please come and get me?" And she's like, "I'll be there in 10 minutes." And she hit me up. She texted me back in 10 minutes and was like, "Hey, I'm outside." And I got up, walked straight out the room, left my drugs, didn't pinch it like I'm going to take a little bit because, nothing. I walked out, left everything, didn't think twice. Went to my mother's house, and it's about 12 o'clock at night. And she opened up the door, and she was heated. I mean, she was pissed. My eyes are bulging. She knew I'm like 130 pounds, face sunk in, sores on my face, just a mess of meth. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was ridiculous. But she let me in because she always does, because she loves me. I'm her son. And so she let me in, and she yelled at me, and we cried for like probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. And after she laid down and went to sleep, and I did something that I never did in my life. After she went in the other room, I dropped to my knees and I prayed to God. And I laid down on the couch and I was still praying, and that's all I remember. I fell asleep. And I don't even know how I fell asleep because I was so twacked out. I woke up in the morning, everybody was still sleeping, and I started making phone calls. And I ended up getting a hold of Summit Point. Well, I ended up hearing about Bear River. And so I got a hold of Summit Point. I went to Summit Point, and I told them that I heard about Bear River, and that's where I wanted to go. 3 days later, I was on my way on a bus up here to Bear River, and it turned out to be the best decision I ever made in my life. I went to Bear River. That Sunday, the first Sunday I was in Bear River, I went to Walloon Lake Church, and I gave my life to the Lord. I got saved, and it's just been blessings after that. So I was trying to get into a sober living house, Nathan's house, and a couple other ones. But it was so fast when I was getting out. So my case manager really wasn't on the ball, like it should have been. But she still, I love her to death. But anyways, so instead of going back to Battle Creek, I could have went back to Battle Creek. I could have been at my mom's house, I could have been at my brother's. It was close to Christmas, I would have been warm, safe, but not really safe, because in a matter of weeks, maybe a month or two, I would have still been out. I would have been right back out using. No question, Mm-hmm. I wasn't ready to be in my environment in my hometown, So But when I left, I packed up all my stuff. I knew I wasn't coming back to Battle Creek. So instead of going back to Battle Creek, my hometown, I went to a shelter here in Charlevoix. Never heard of it. Don't know nobody, in town. Didn't know nobody. Well, I get to this shelter, and it's a house. Like, it's a beautiful house right next to, 10 feet from a church. And when I get there, it's a Saturday night. So I wake up Sunday morning and go straight over to this church. And the first person I met, his name was Mike. And he's a person in recovery. He runs the Wednesday night meetings at the church. And, ever since then, since that day, which was about 5.5 months ago, I had nothing when I got here, Now I got a job. I got a good job. I have an apartment. I started from the bottom, from nothing, and worked my way up. And, now I have a future in front of me. I have a bright future. I have friends that care about me, real friends that actually really care about me around here, And it's a beautiful thing, and it's all because of recovery, and and God, God, I believe in Jesus and God, and hands down, and that's what works for me, recovery and God, and that's and I'm not perfect, it's progress, not perfection, but I'm clean, I'm sober, I go to meetings daily, I work the steps. I go to Basis. Shouts out to Basis and Scott and Celia from Basis. I love them to death, and they've done a lot for me. And the Charlevoix Alano Club, shouts out. Bear River 217. Recovery is beautiful. There's life after drugs and alcohol. Hands down. And it works if you work it. And that's real. But you have to want it. You have to be ready. And when I was in that motel room, when I kind of like woke up out of my self-righteous drug addiction bullcrap or whatever it was that happened, I knew when I walked out of that motel room, I wasn't going to use again. I knew that day that I wasn't going to use again. And I needed help. And I couldn't do it myself. So I went to rehab. I went to God, I went to AA meetings. I went to NA meetings. I have friends. I have a circle of recovery friends. Like if I fall, which I don't plan on it, I'm getting caught, bro. Like, it's a circle. I have a fortress of recovery friends that's just, and it's an amazing thing. You know what I mean? Today, there's light at the end of the tunnel, bro. I have a good job. I have an apartment. I'm going to be working at a rehab in Petoskey this fall. And I'm going to be a counselor. I'm going to go back to school this winter and take classes to be a drug counselor. And that's what I want to do. It's my calling. That's what I'm meant for. I've been doing drugs. I'm going on 40 years old, bro. I'll be 40 July 7th. I've been drinking and using drugs since I was 14 years old. The last 8 years, it's been meth and heroin, And I'm blessed to be alive, bro. There's only one reason why I'm still alive. And that's because God wants me to help other people, And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm here for.
Use those skills that he gave you to help other people. And that helps you too.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what we were talking about tonight. That, I'm selfish in my recovery. I come first, but helping other people, like AA, you help other people and it helps you to stay sober. So I'm going to help other people stay sober to help myself stay sober. So if I surround myself with recovery and AA and rehabs and, working in a rehab is going to be the best thing for me. That's being a drug counselor. It's the best thing for me, And to tell you the truth, who better else but some